It's the best you can get. Quality cuts at competitive prices at Squire's Barbershop, Pyle Street, Newport.
The Shedman Isle of Wight are proud to offer you luxury garden buildings at great value for money. So whether it's a stable block, a summer house or a tool store, they guarantee only to use the best designs and materials to ensure that the building that you desire will meet your needs and most importantly will last. By using superior grade timbers that can be treated and come with a 20-year guarantee. So why not pop into Palmer's Brook Farm and see what Bob can build for you? Or call him now on 882 999 and arrange a free home survey. All prices include VAT and Isle of Wight delivery. That's 882 999.
Got an email here. It says, "Hi Ian, saw an ad the other day for the original iMac. It was for a computer. I think you need to have a word because I thought the original iMac was you." That's from Kelvin. Thank you very much, Kelvin, for that. No, you're wrong. There's the iMac and then there's the iMac, which is probably more me. And we all know that iMac is something completely different from the iMac.
Macca on the Bigger Brunch is brought to you in association with IsleofWight.com, where summer to eat is just a click away.
The best mix of hits anywhere on the planet. This is Vectis Radio.
And we've got David Icke, who's in at the moment. Just to get light and fluffy, you're leaving the country. Not at somebody
Not as a result of this interview, by the
way. You're going out and about.
Yeah, I'm going to South Africa on next Monday and filming out there for 2 weeks. And I'm speaking in Prague, New York, San Francisco, Amsterdam, Barcelona, Lisbon, Ukraine, Los Angeles, Mexico, Chicago.
What kind of response will you get there, as in respect of here? Because years ago it was a different.
Oh yeah,
it was different. Now it's changing, isn't it?
Transformed, and it's proof of a simple fact. If you keep speaking your truth, and you don't stop and have to defend yourself, you just keep speaking your truth. If it's got validity, eventually it will be shown to be so. And I've gone from being the madman to someone that can get thousands of people, literally thousands of people, to a day event all over the world, because the interest has just exploded. Why? Because more and more what I've been talking about and writing about for 20 years is now on the daily news. People can see it's happening. I mean, the police state, the Orwellian state, is moving in so fast. And so the reaction I get is pretty much the same wherever I go. I mean, I'm talking in London at the Brixton Academy, O2 Brixton Academy, on September the 11th. And I spoke there in May, and there was 2,500 people there, and the tickets had gone 6 months in advance. So that's the kind of interest we're talking about for someone who couldn't have filled a phone box 15 years ago.
Why? Why was that?
Because people thought that what I was saying was fantastic and just extreme and ridiculous, but the passage of events in the world are showing people more and more that actually, if anything, I'd understated some of it, where it's going. I mean, when you've got a situation where social services can go to a loving parents, make up an excuse to take their child away, and those parents are then told, and I've seen the documentation they're given, that if they speak about this publicly or go to the media about what's happened to their children, they can face up to 3 months in prison. And by the way, if you do that, that's definitely you're not going to get your child back. But they know at the time they ain't going to get it back anyway. And so that's what you're dealing with. And how much more extreme, how much more fascist, how much more tyrannical can you get than that happening? And if people knew what is happening in the social services of this country, on the scale of it, they would be staggered. And it's not just, they started out taking children from parents who did not have, the money or whatever to fight them, and they still do that on a massive scale and didn't understand the system, the easy targets. I was talking to someone in Trafalgar Square at this rally I spoke at on Saturday. She was a qualified law student. Her mother was a retired family lawyer who operated in this whole system, and they took her children away as well, the daughter's children away, and they're now somewhere in Cornwall. She has no idea where they are or what's happening to them, and they want to come home. She wants them to come home. Social services won't even let them near her. And on the Isle of Wight, I've come across cases, I've seen it, where a document is produced by social services, for instance, saying that a mother has falsified documents that her, or evidence that her daughter was sexually abused, right? That goes in the social services document. The mother challenges it, ignored, and then it goes through the system and colours everyone's view of the mother. I have seen the doctor's report she's talking about, a doctor's report detailing the evidence that her child had been sexually abused. And I've seen so many lies, because it's like, what do I do to have to get what I want? I have to lie. Okay, I'll tell a lie. That's not a problem. And this goes all the way through the system. And then there's this other little thing. The money that is being spent on barristers and lawyers and social workers' travel, etc., not only to go to court on the Isle of Wight or in Portsmouth, but to the High Court in London, is paid fantastic amounts of money. We are paying. That money in our name is paying to take children from loving parents. The parents, they have to pay their own legal bills. Some of them, most of them, have no legal representation whatsoever because they can't afford it. And this is what they're faced with. They have got no chance of getting their children back, and from the start they were never going to go back. And I've written, Ian, to all the councillors on the Isle of Wight. One has bothered to reply and acknowledge what I wrote, and none of the others have bothered to reply. The island MP refuses to take up these cases. He is bloody useless, by the way. Someone else has written to him with a clearly, blatantly forged police letter, which I've seen. It's the most blatantly forged thing you could see. And it was either forged by the police or legal people on the Isle of Wight. He won't take that on either. So why won't you do that, Mr. Turner? Well, you know, you're supposed to be the MP for this island. And so what we're looking at is this wall, and I find this in every country. It's part of the blueprint. This wall that people come across of officialdom, that they cannot fight these cases because the officialdom is literally making up the law as it goes along. One woman's bank account, mother, was frozen by Isle of Wight Council illegally, and then had to be unfrozen when a judge said, "What the hell are you doing?" This is going on this island. Get off your knees, Isle of Wight, and stop these people doing this to our fellow members of this community. Stop the tail wagging the dog. And by the way, in terms of councillors, they're bloody got no power anyway. We're going to vote for the Conservatives this time. No, it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter who you vote for, the same cabal still goes on controlling in terms of lawyers and officers. And do you know, the politicians who are supposed to be running social services, the elected people by us, they're not allowed to see details of cases that the social services they're supposed to be overseeing are involved in. It's a tyranny, it's a law unto itself, and it's a bloody scandal.
How many people do you see ruling the Isle of Wight? Because I'm looking at it and thinking, right, okay, I can't picture the rest of the country at the moment. I'm just looking at the Isle of Wight. I'm an island person, and you know, we've had, as a station, we've had a number of problems in the last sort of 6 months. Ever since we've dared to open up a radio station in the media playground.
You should have asked for permission, Ian.
We did.
I mean, from the Isle of Wight Mafia.
How many people is in this mafia? Because there was someone once said to me years and years ago that if you peel back the layers and layers of hypocrisy, you will find about 8 people running the Isle of Wight. Is it more than that? How many?
I think the guy's pretty much spot on. For instance, the network of families that control the planet is about 13. The House of Rothschild right up there, and others, the Rockefellers in America and stuff like that. It's about 13 families. And because it's like the blueprint I talked about, where every level operates the same as the top level, then of course you're dealing pretty much in the same numbers. And this is how it works. It's done through compartmentalization. Everything's structured as a pyramid. you've got the few at the top of the pyramid who know how the whole pyramid works. They know what the goals are. They know how all the bits in the pyramid fit together. So they control the pyramid. As you come down the pyramid, whether it's the Isle of Wight Council or social services or a government or a transnational corporation, anything, you're meeting more and more and more people in these organizations as you come down from that elite pyramid peak. But as you come down, the more and more know less and less and less about how the whole deal works. They're just going into work, they're doing their job and going home. They don't know how their contribution links to this contribution, again innocent in the person doing it, and that contribution to create anything but an innocent picture. Only the few at the top know it all fits together. It's called compartmentalization, or as the CIA, British intelligence, talk about, the need to know basis, where you only know what you need to know to make your contribution unknowingly to the whole. And this is how it all works at every level. So when I talk about corrupt policemen on the Isle of Wight, corrupt people in social services, corrupt people in the council, corrupt people in business, and all the rest of it, I'm not talking about every councillor, every council officer, every council employee, every social services employee, or every policeman, and probably nothing like. Because of this compartmentalization, a few can actually control the whole system. For instance, you don't need to control every policeman on the Isle of Wight or anywhere else to investigate someone for malicious reasons to cause them problems because they're doing things you don't want them to do. You only have to control that level of the police on the Isle of Wight that decides this prosecution is going to take place. In reverse, you don't have to control every policeman to stop a known paedophile being arrested who's part of the ring, or a known Satanist, or a known crook, or a known drug money launderer or runner who's part of the cabal. You only have to control those positions in the Isle of Wight police that decide that prosecution investigation is going to stop. That's how it works. So the vast majority of people in these pyramids are actually innocent. They're caught in a web they don't understand. Some of them do understand to an extent because they see corruption all around them. And like I said earlier, they tear their hair out with frustration. And I feel for those genuine police officers, those genuine people in social services, those genuine people in the council. You know, it must be very difficult working in this structure of corruption and these scandalous things that they do. And what's got to happen in the end, and Wight Mafia at AOL.com, is people have got to have the guts to tell what they know so that this wall of secrecy can be brought down and these buggers can be exposed for what's gone on this island for so long and is still going on, and so much of it involves the abuse of children. The number of paedophiles is far, far greater than anyone understands, and the ratio of paedophiles to positions of power at all the levels of this global web is absolutely fantastic. Some of the biggest paedophiles in the world are people that appear on the BBC News and CNN and ITN. A few years ago,